Welcome to our 2025 Performance Review Training. It is our pleasure to guide you through this important process. This review cycle is specifically tailored for our hourly and individual contributor team members. Throughout this video, we'll be going over crucial information you must know before starting a review. Timelines are crucial in any process, and performance reviews are no exception. We will review the timelines thoroughly. And to further assist you, practical guidance on assessing and rating your team members will also be provided. It's all about objectivity, fairness, and motivating your team members for better performance. So let's get started. Let's first take some time to talk about the three primary facets of our performance review process. First, we have work reliability. Attendance is a major factor we look at here, but it's more than just clocking in on time. It's about showing a consistent presence and proving reliability. The next point on our agenda is behavioral performance. The Live 5 service standards will be your guide in this section of the performance review. Then we move on to our third focal point, which is functional performance. Here's where we look at job knowledge and skills, assessing how proficient team members are at handling tasks specific to their roles. We use standardized metrics, unique to each department, to measure their abilities and gauge how in line they are with our operational goals. These three elements of the review process weave together to provide a well-rounded assessment. By paying attention to their participation, commitment to service delivery, and job-related skills, we can offer a comprehensive review for each team member. Rating reliability focuses on a systematic approach towards rating employee reliability, making it an instrumental part of assessing and managing performance in a professional setting. Needs improvement is a category that identifies areas where the individual has room for growth or enhancement. This isn't necessarily indicative of subpar performance, but rather signifies potential developmental opportunities. Meeting expectations implies that the individual is performing their duties at a satisfactory level. They are successfully delivering the required output and meeting the targets or benchmarks set for their position. An elevated performance level is classified under exceeding expectations. This categorization is reserved for those who showcase extraordinary performance and demonstrate consistent excellence. Inclusion in this category must be substantiated with specific examples to clearly communicate the individual's exceptional performance. Attendance ratings need to be objective and quantifiable, so they are understood clearly by both management and team members. As such, we have developed a point system. An employee with 8.5 or more points is considered not to meet expectations. This means that the employee's absenteeism is affecting their productivity and making them a less reliable member. If an employee scores between 2 to 8 points, they are deemed to be meeting expectations. They are present and engaged consistently enough to keep work functions running smoothly. Furthermore, an employee who manages 0 to 1.5 points is exceeding expectations. This level of dedication helps ensure the rhythm of operations remains uninterrupted, which is critical for maintaining team dynamics and overall business productivity. It's important that we ensure every performance review is conducted keeping our Live 5 service standards front and center. They are absolutely vital to our business. When you are reviewing your team's performance, remember to evaluate these 5 elements: clean, safe, fast, friendly, and fun. We are not just expecting fast service, but one that is clean, safe, and friendly. And let's not forget the fun part. During these performance reviews, please remember that negative guest feedback can negatively affect performance ratings. We must handle these situations in a constructive way. So instead of simply pointing out what's not working, strive to provide suggestions to your team member on how to improve and meet expectations. On the other hand, consistent adherence to our standards should lead to meeting expectations. If your team member is consistently showcasing cleanliness, safety, speed, friendliness, and fun in their role, that's exactly where we want them to be. Being good is great, but going above and beyond is what takes us to the next level. If a team member is not just sticking to the letter of our standards, but engaging positively with customers and showing an impressive willingness to offer that little extra, this should be recognized and rewarded. Probably they stayed late to complete a task or went out of their way to create a memorable customer experience. Maybe they consistently receive positive guest survey mentions, or they were nominated for or won Live Champion for the quarter. These actions that surpass expectations should be acknowledged to motivate them and set an example for others. Performance metrics provide a standardized measure for evaluating and rating an employee's performance consistently and neutrally. This standardized evaluation system eradicates bias, personal preferences, or subjective judgments. Here's how the functional performance metric sheet contributes to fair performance evaluation. First, streamlined evaluation process. The metric sheet lists every department's roles and their corresponding duties. It simplifies the complex task of assessing the employee's performance based only on their role-specific functions. Next, clear expectations. With does not meet, meets, and exceeds expectations clearly defined, there is no room for ambiguity. Also, objective scoring. Since metrics are focused strictly on performance, it ensures that relationships or personal opinions do not affect the assessment. Finally, uniform standards. The sheet comes with a tab for every department, indicating the functional metrics for all positions. Thus, it ensures that leaders do not rate performance based on varying criteria. Every employee within a department, irrespective of their position, is evaluated based on their unique functional metrics. Using the functional performance metric sheet for performance evaluation significantly enhances the fairness and consistency of the process. Important note: if your department's tab is incomplete or missing, please contact the HR training team for further instructions before proceeding. Here are the timeframes for both our hourly team member performance review process and the individual contributor timeline. It's crucial to understand that meeting these dates will ensure a smooth process. These timelines were also included in the email you received. It's essential that you complete your responsibility before its due date, as it helps us stay on track with our schedule and allows us to submit increases to payroll in a timely manner. Thank you for joining us for the 2025 Performance Review Training. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. We started with an overview of the performance review process and what's required before it begins. Then we discussed the performance metrics, work reliability, behavioral performance, and functional performance, focusing on how team member attendance, how team members demonstrate the Live 5 service standards, and how they perform their jobs should be evaluated. Next, we reviewed the individual contributor and hourly team member timeline, highlighting key dates and tasks to keep the process on track. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. I hope this helps you fully understand the 2025 performance review expectations and process. Have a good day.